I'm Jason, and when I asked my wife not to go to the party, I didn't expect her to go anyway, and certainly not for the aftermath to leave me shaken the next morning, questioning the fragile balance of trust, respect, and understanding in our marriage. The evening had started with a subtle tension, one that I tried to mask with polite conversation and casual remarks, but the truth was that I had a quiet apprehension about the gathering. I had explained carefully why I thought she should stay home, long week at work, the unpredictability of some of the attendees, and the lingering concern that the event might stir conflict, but she had listened, nodded, and then smiled in that unreadable way that I had learned to recognize over the years. I thought the matter was settled, but when she left, radiant and confident, I felt the first wave of unease. I tried to calm myself, convincing myself that I trusted her judgment, that her independence was important, yet beneath the surface, my mind churned with what-ifs and the subtle fear of losing connection over something as ordinary as a party. The night stretched on in a silence that felt louder than it should have, each tick of the clock amplifying my anxiety. I busied myself with small household tasks, anything to keep my mind occupied, but every notification, or lack of one, made my heart skip. I imagined her laughing, talking, mingling effortlessly among friends and colleagues, and each image tugged at a mix of worry, jealousy, and helplessness. I wanted to reach out, to ask how things were going, but I also knew that calling her might disrupt her evening or make her feel controlled. So I sat in quiet tension, replaying our conversation over and over, questioning whether I had been too controlling, too cautious, or if my feelings were valid at all. Hours passed slowly until her return, late and still poised, leaving me unsure whether to confront, retreat, or pretend everything was normal. Her presence filled the house with a faint perfume and a quiet energy from the evening, yet her demeanor suggested that the night had been enjoyable, and perhaps unaware of the unease I had carried alone. The next morning was the moment that truly shook me. I woke to the sunlight spilling across the living room, the quiet hum of the house emphasizing the tension from the night before. I saw her moving around, making coffee, casual and calm, and the contrast between her relaxed energy and my restless mind made the lingering anxiety of the previous night hit me fully. I realized that the party was not just an event, it had become a symbol of autonomy, communication, and the unspoken boundaries in our relationship. I tried to organize my thoughts, to separate the practical concern from the emotional response, and to understand why something as simple as attending a social gathering had unsettled me so profoundly. I recognized that my shaken state wasn't about mistrust, but about the deeper realization that expectations in a relationship, no matter how reasonable, are fragile when uncommunicated or unmet. I reflected on the necessity of dialogue, of honesty, and of empathy, and how our assumptions about each other can amplify emotions that might otherwise remain calm. As I watched her prepare for the day, moving with effortless grace and completely unaware of the storm her choice had stirred, I understood that my reaction was not a flaw, but a signal of how much I cared, how much attention I paid to the rhythms of our shared life, and how easily even minor disruptions can rattle someone who invests deeply in emotional alignment. I felt the urge to speak, to air the tension that had built overnight, but I also realized that confrontation required patience and timing, that it needed to be measured and compassionate rather than reactive. So I sipped my coffee, feeling the warmth ground me, letting the quiet reflection calm the tremors of worry, and prepared to address the matter with clarity rather than frustration. That morning became a lesson in understanding, patience, and the importance of mutual respect, reminding me that love is not only about shared experiences, but about recognizing autonomy, managing expectations, and navigating discomfort with grace. By the time she sat across from me, unaware of how much the night had weighed on me, I was calmer, ready to communicate honestly, and determined to turn the shaken feeling into an opportunity to strengthen, rather than weaken, the trust and connection that define our marriage. The party had tested us, not through drama or conflict, but through simple choices, and I knew that handling the aftermath with care and attention would shape the tone of countless days to come.